Welcome back. Good morning. EUC Learn Along. What we got? We got SQL Express. Kinda. But a while back we did a video on ThinScale management for endpoints as an endpoint management solution. And we tried to do their new agent, the ThinScale desktop agent. Wasn't properly set up, wasn't even licensed. Brushed all over that, just got TK working, and we did that. So we're going to go back to it. We eventually will go back to things that had little issues like that. All right. So I got a license, and I've done a couple things. I've cleaned up our lab, got rid of those DFS servers. Not going to use those, but I did create a SQL server. This will be a norm from now on, to where we put our databases on. Excuse me. Coffee getting to me. But it is not set up in a resilient fashion. It's not clustered, but we'll get there. We'll set that up. Keep talking about these clusters set up for profiles, but we'll get there. But we're going to start putting all our databases onto this server. Okay? So it would make upgrades and all kinds of stuff a lot easier. All right. So I did have to do some cleanup. We got space back. So I was able to spin up a new ThinScale server, got the SQL server, created our database. What else did I do? Yeah. So I did get the latest for SQL Express and then just SQL itself, eval. Got the new management piece. I think that's 20.2 right now, but I went ahead and grabbed those, and while I was on the Microsoft website, I saw that they had 2025, so I grabbed the VHD and ISO for that. Not using that yet, but any new server build that I do from now, I'll use this, because our current template that we've been using has some issues because of me. But anyhow, oh, and we got the latest version of ThinScale 8.3. Alright, so we created our database. I did have some issues connecting to the database, as it's not on the local server anymore. So just a couple pieces to check. Once you set it up, we've seen how to set up SQL Express and SQL components before. You're just putting it on another server, but since they are on a different server, just make sure you got your authentication set. So we changed it from Windows authentication mode to SQL Server and Windows authentication. And for your connection, allow remote connections. All right. And once you do that, we're kind of moving away from ThinScale, but we're learning other pieces. All right, so in the configuration manager, there was just one more piece we had to do. All right, we had to enable TCP/IP. All right, and then if we go down here to IP all, we designated port 1433, and that's the port that we're connecting on using ThinScale. All right, and once you do that, if this service is not started, go ahead and start it or restart it if it's already running. And then you're in business. Then you got ThinScale. So we know how to set up ThinScale as well. So we just connected to our new instance over here. All right, so I did install the license. So you do not get the TDA license. Just reach out to the vendor, right-click on licenses, install license, and it's just going to be a file. Easy peasy. Then once you get that, just click on your license and go to assign and just assign it to the root up here. Yep, already assigned. Good, good. All right, so what are we doing? TDA. TDA, VDA, a lot of acronyms. All right, so we got a default key. All right, so we know that works. All right, so we need a little bit more. All right, so we're going to beat this name to death. TDA, and I need to let's do this. Toolbar, search, toolbar, nope. Taskbar settings. Let's put it to the right. Now I can see. All right. So we got a device registration key. I'm going to copy that. It's going to be needed. Endpoint-win10. Temp access. E at the end? Does that look right? Yep. We'll see if it works. Alright, and the rest of this we can leave the same. We could edit all this, but it's not needed. We can move it to a folder. We don't need to. Alright, it's enabled. We got that. We'll hit add. Alright, and we'll go ahead and we created a folder. Alright, what else do we need to do? We need a device policy. Alright, so before we didn't have this either. Okay, we're going to beat this to death. Alright, we're using TK. We'll use a local managed account. We will allow remote log-ons. We won't be caching anything. Branding. Storage icons. Thought I had a cool picture somewhere. Maybe not. Oh well. We won't be using it. Alright, but you can put your custom picture here. You can put your face. You can do the little doo-doo brown stuff that we've been doing. A banana. It doesn't matter. Alright, we can put a shortcut with the same thing on the desktop. Startup script. Device settings. Troubleshooting. Administration. Let's go ahead and set this to our own password. Alright, and authentication and relaunch. Good. Alright, so we got a device policy. Alright, so we could assign it per folder. And set it here. We will not. Oop. Is that still checked? No. We're going to go up here to device properties. The default to properties. Again, all this only applies to the TDA. We will select the default. We can break inheritance per folder down here. And then we can set what version we would like to be on. Or if you want to be on the latest, leave it on the latest and it will get updated when it's time. Alright, so that's a cool feature. It moves away from the software packages when you update their latest release. So, bam. Alright, so we got that. We need a profile Uh, let's do new profile. Yep. I'm gonna call everything TDA. It's not gonna have any meeting left. Websites. Um, Here, we'll leave this one alone for the repository. Kiosk bar. Yeah, we don't. We'll kind of set it up like we have been, and then we'll see all the new stuff. All right, show system notifications. All right, so we need that to work. So if we go down to Windows Shell, enable Windows support, I think that needs to be turned off. All right, so that's enabled. Add a website here. Google. TTPS. Always show secure browser. I think that's all we need. Status bar. Add. Clock. Oh, we don't want these. These put them at the bottom. There is another place. All right, if we go up here to our repository, we got all our new sites somewhere. There we go. You can add them all here, then add them to your secure browser and application down here. But what am I looking for? Oh man, the children are up. Ribbon. Here we go. So you can have a user or admin ribbon for when you unlock it. Browser. These are all at the top. I think that needs to be there for the browser to show first. All right, I think we're good. All right. So the main thing is getting TDA to work. Excuse me. Install. They do have a upgrade package to upgrade from legacy to new. But we're not doing any of that. We're doing a fresh install. Yep, I'll need you here in a second. Finish. Well, bless you. Instance already running. Well, we're going to restart you. Restart. I was messing around on these machines. That was our desktop lock machine. Citrix desktop lock that we used. Okay. I'm a big fan of Windows Spotlight. Need to turn that off too. Build up our policies. All right. So we got it installed. Had to reboot. There we go. Manual registration. HTTP ThinScale.euz learn along local. I can't spell. And TST management. I think that's right. And then our code. Yep. Our code for our access key. Verify invalid. All right, so something is not right. Let me go over here. Now that we got everything set up. All right, so that looks right. Let's verify. Yep. So it's our access key. So something did not do something. Maybe my copy and paste didn't work. I don't know. File, save. Now that looks different. It's green. Green is good. All right, let's register. A lot of checks. It's good. Progress bar is moving. That is also good. Registering. It registered. Reboot. Alright, should log in. Wish I had my picture. I ought to put my picture from my splash screen. TDA 1. ThinScale. Desktop agent. Wow. Alright, and if we would have had a cool picture, we could have put it right there. Private does not have. Well, that is true. Alright, so since we didn't set some pieces in here, we need to move it. Oh, that's got all the profiles assigned. Okay. Refresh. All right, let's move you. There we go. Look at that, troubleshooting. Sign back in. And there we go. So I'm going to let you know, this agent was real picky. So you gotta stay on top of it versus what you had. Wow. Look at there. All right, so we can edit all this. I think. Yeah, we don't have any applications. Oh man, this thing is not locked down at all. But no big deal. And I've already see that we did not set a few things. So we set Google in there. We got our kiosk bar. Home page. Google. Yep, you got your VDI controls. We're not going to go too crazy with this. Device. Refresh. Oh, so we need to turn off those admin actions. Yeah. We're not going to do it in this video. It's a lot of options you can play with. We went through a lot of them. It's all dependent on what you want to do in your environment. But we got TDA working. ThinScale desktop agent. Looks new, looks cool. All right, so the big things is got creative device policy. You need an access key with that generated code. Yep. You can set it to move it to a folder based on the install, which we did not. All kinds of cool stuff you can do. What else? Since the recap, access key, device policy. So in the old policy or profile for TK, some of this stuff was in there. Startup scripts, device settings, authentication was within the folder. They kind of moved all to this policy. All right, no big deal. Just in a different place, but you got to remember where it's at. Within the, get your management key, got your license. Within your TDA profile, there's a lot of new stuff in there for process security, driver protection. Let you mess around with that. You still got your log on, log off scripts. You just got to kind of mess around with it. And with the status bar, that's all the stuff at the bottom right. You can play around with that. You can move these up and down. You can organize them. So a lot more customization you can put into this. Excuse me. I don't care about that for right now, but we're good. Google. There we go. It says a home page. Quick work, and then we got our kiosk bar down here. We didn't set this to open up full screen, but we can do that too. All right. Only other thing I really wanted to see was this remote control. Oh, okay. I gotta set that up. So they moved away from their custom remoting tool, and they have moved to RDP. Right. But anyhow, that's TDA. Not too bad. License, new access key, device policy, assign that device policy. Again, you can do it in the default device properties, or if you get real fancy and you got a crazy environment, set it in here. Multiple device policies per folder. But that's cool. We're moving up. All right, so we might kind of leverage this with other things when we go forward. We got 29 days. So we did get the new agent to work. It's not super pretty, but we can mess around with that later. We got a ThinScale server newly stood up. But the big thing, along with TDA, is we got a SQL server now. Again, nothing fancy, but we're separating out services. Cool stuff. But anyhow, we addressed the new agent, got that working. That'll sit in the back of my head and drive me crazy, but hey, we got it working. We can use it at some point. Cool stuff. All right. Hope you learned something.